Hey everybody, it is Sunday, August 8th, 2021, and we just finished the Sunday episode of week 5 of Big Brother season 23. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader here on Super Mader Brothers podcasting as we continue our coverage of this season. We saw tonight Derek X was the one who won the wall comp. If you weren't with us for our spoiler section for on last Thursday, we did know this. We did know that the final three were going to be Alyssa, Xavier, and Derek X. However, it was a bit more to see in the episode tonight. And he goes on to nominate Sarah Beth and Brittany with a sort of idea of targeting Christian. So that's everything. That's sort of the headlines at this hour. But we're going to kind of break it all down and get into the meat of the episode. Jeff, what was your reaction to tonight?
It was this is the best episode we've gotten so far because it was the most expositional, explained the most of what's going on in the house. So for me, I finally understand now what's going on with the cookout and like the different alliances. Like it's not the primary alliance. It's kind of like this protect each other, for optics almost, like rather than real hardcore strategy. And so for me, like now it's like at least it kind of makes more sense. Once again, we literally got no Claire on the show. What's going on there? We'll get to that. There's just so many things to kind of break down here because I loved Tiffany. I told you she was going to slip up, and she did. There's a bunch of things like that she's manipulating people hardcore in the house, and I think finally people are starting to kind of see it.
Yeah, with Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tiffany, I think is she's spinning too many plates. Probably seems like she's probably doing too much. I'm sure as much as we're seeing on the show is probably even more than what we're seeing.
Right.
In all reality, yeah. So I think that there's quite a bit. I think with her game that her collateral might run out sooner than later. However, she's not been a target so far. So somehow, and that has bode well for her. Right. Although tonight she had some blunders. She was dropping the Royal Flush Alliance in front of Hannah.
Yeah, well, the Royal Flush this was kind of the death of the Royal Flush Alliance tonight because now it's like it seems like the reality of the house was the kings and the queens were running the house. That's it. It had nothing to do with the cookout. Really wasn't running the house. They were just kind of protecting each other if the jokers, the aces went after them, kind of like. So for me, at least we got to understand what's going on in the house, except there's still players that I still have no idea who they're aligned to or what's going on, like mostly the Joker players and plus Claire. I don't really understand.
And where's Kylan at?
Yeah, and Kylan's the other guy. Like everything is so easy for him right now because he is so good at the social game and everybody likes him that sometimes those players just coast but we not like. I don't understand, other than the fact that Claire has safety, and I get it, why she is so protected. She really is. Like she's in the Royal Flush Alliance, sure, but she's not running the bus. She's not. Sarah Beth seemed way more involved in that alliance than she did.
She's guaranteed to be there till jury, so she's a guaranteed vote number down the road. So you want to stay good with her, because there's no choice but to really. But
there's only one more week. There's 12 people in the house.
One more week, yeah. So then all bets are off. But she kind of got a bye right to jury, right? So she's there. She's sort of a less active participant, maybe in some ways, because she's not vulnerable.
She got a free week though. I mean, really, but she's usually like that gives you so much power to start strategizing. And we just not seeing her on the show, and I don't get it. Like I don't understand why she's not on the show and she's so protected. Both those things.
There's quite a few players, and we're in here to week 5, so we've lost 4 people before this. So there's only 12 people left, and it still feels crowded. Like there's not enough room to fit everyone on the show, but they're trying to give us different things. What did you think? Okay, so let's maybe like rewind back to the beginning of the episode, and the whole comp and how it played out in the show. Sort of, what did you think? Like Big D, no surprise, he goes at first.
Yeah.
He was. Do you like this thing, Jeff? Where they in the DR they go, "I'm gonna win this competition," and then it cuts away and then they fall off.
No, like they did that. They did a few of those today. Claire, the one time Claire was on the show, she was like, "I need to win this so bad." Actually, I don't. You know, it's like
It was hilarious.
I was cackling. I was jumping out of my seat. It was so funny.
Yeah. Well, hey, funny's funny. You got to call it.
Yeah, when something's
happens.
funny, you can't help but laugh. It's involuntary, as they say.
Yeah, it just burst out. Yeah, it was. I don't know. There's just a bunch of these. Okay, and then sort of how this all played out. So we were getting a lot of DR sessions tonight with Tiffany saying she's gunning for Alyssa, even though she's in the Royal Flush Alliance. Tiffany and Alyssa are in this Royal Flush Alliance, but it seems like you're right. It's the death of it. It was even in these DR sessions. It was like it's all bets are off. That's not really a thing anymore. Now that the team twist is kind of out.
Yeah, but it is for certain people, and it isn't for others, Dave. Like Xavier and Christian think the Royal Flush is still a thing.
Right. The Kings are more into it.
Yeah. And the Queens, we don't know what Kylan's opinion is on the show, really. And Claire, God, we will never know. And, so there's a bunch of players in the Kings and Queens that we don't really understand where their head is because they don't show it, on the show.
Yeah. I'm kind of confused by this alliance that varying degrees, like the different members of this alliance believe in. Obviously, when it gets exposed tonight, eventually to Hannah, like Derek X is like, well, it was just a thing, like what?
It was a 1 week thing, yeah.
Really, and like Hannah's like, well, they just wanted you in the alliance because there's a good chance you'll win.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So they want you to be in it, but really, it's just Kings and Queens, and you were sort of a tag on.
That's exactly right. And Hannah's kind of like, why are you not telling me that? Like Hannah impressed me tonight, actually, with the way she handled Tiffany, the way she handled Sarah Beth before the HOH comp. Like, there was a few things where I was like, okay, Hannah's starting to play the game properly, and it's not, all about emotions and she,
and being
like
sarcastic to people
and being very sarcastic and condescending. Yeah, she's at least like maybe she just needed to get rid of the players she really hated, and then now she can play. I don't know, but
yeah, Hannah, like so you think that she seems to be developing some good instincts?
Yeah, like the fact that she didn't like blow up that like the fact that the Royal Flush was blown by Tiffany, the fact that she didn't like right in the moment bring it up, she just sat there and listened. That's good instincts, stuff like that. You have to be smart, in this house, and it's how you play in the house really matters. Like the DR, you can be the best narrator, you can be the best strategist on paper, like kind of like Tiffany is, but the best skill in the house is listening.
True. And who does that more than the sleepy man, Derek F? I
think he does it the least.
He does it the least, maybe. Okay, yeah. So a couple things I noted here in this whole competition. Like Christian was saying, it's going to be a great week this week. I don't have any worries in the world. Christian felt like there's no chance he's in trouble or anybody he's close to. Alyssa didn't quite feel the same way in her DR session, so she was more like,
yeah, she was safe. She felt safe because of the deal, not because of the alliance.
Yeah. Do you feel like Derek X kind of robbed Alyssa of this?
No,
because
I thought at first she threw it, but then she was very upset with the fact she didn't win it. So
I'm just
I think right. So I don't think so, but at the same time, she did she was the best girl up there. She probably that I'm surprised she didn't beat Xavier.
Xavier didn't look like he was in trouble of losing it. He could have held on, look like for a long time, but he didn't want to win it.
Yeah, who knows who actually would have won had that been like a Survivor immunity challenge, but I don't know. Like maybe Derek X does pull it out, but I don't know. I think Xavier might have won it. He seemed pretty comfortable up there.
But he may have been willing to give it to Alyssa. He may have been fine with Alyssa having power. So if Derek X isn't in the mix, but obviously Derek X or Xavier would have won this. It seems like they were. And if Christian had been in the competition, we don't know how he would have done. But Alyssa seemed like she was really bummed.
I just really wanted it. That's all.
That's all.
And I blew it.
And she was upset that Derek X didn't throw it to her. I was like, girl, you have to win it.
I was like, Jeff's gonna hate that.
I just wish Derek would have thrown it to me.
No, bullshit. You have to win those things. You don't get thrown HOHs when you know. No, sorry. Like you don't have that much cred in the house. I don't think. Do you, Dave?
Well, I think that I think that this is kind of naturally what happens when a team like the Kings has had 2 weeks of power like this, right? I think they've been comfortable for so long. You just don't. I think you lose touch with sort of like the reality of the house, which is always paranoia and who are too comfortable or who are doing too well. And the Kings know that they're targeted because they have this majority in numbers, which their fellow alliance members, if you can call them that, don't like, right? They don't like that disparity. So it's sort of like this alliance can't work because it's based on inequality or on sort of like the king, especially with how Xavier played this tonight, where he's like, hey, can I have safety? And when he got down, he said, I didn't want to yell it in front of the house, but he kind of put a notwithstanding clause, Jeff, as the attorney, into his deal with Derek X. Do you think that was kind of dirty?
It was a very lawyery thing to do, like you just said. Like it was a notwithstanding clause. He was trying to kind of like peer pressure bully him. You know, where it was like basically like he was trying to put that bug in his ear to make sure, like, oh, that was said. So, you know, and that's what Derek X had to clarify.
Would that qualify as lawyer vibes?
He's giving me lawyer vibes.
That is definitely qualifying as lawyer vibes. Yes, what he did there for sure.
Yeah,
he was trying to break a deal after the sentencing had already happened. You know?
Yeah, he's like, and please slip this in. Let's not call too much attention to it. It was, I get you don't want to say it in front of the people, but if you don't want to say it in front of the people, then I don't think you can hold that or try to make that deal after the fact. I think it's that overconfidence of having that safety for so long, for the 2 weeks that the Kings did, and even before that, it was Kylan, right, who had power before that. So it was it was also the Queens who had power before the Kings did. So the Kings have had a really good for a long time, for quite a while.
And so is the Cookout. Let's be honest here, Dave. The Cookout has had it exactly the way they want it. You know, look who's on the block right now. It's Sarah Beth and Brittany. You know, like if a member of the Cookout wins next week, they're not putting a member of the Cookout up. But even if Xavier wins, right? I don't see him putting up Azza or Derek F, even though that's like really all he's got left. You know what I mean?
I guess Claire will be ineligible.
That levy's gonna break, and you know. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see when. You know.
Yeah. Okay. And did you think that Alyssa was kind of off with her? She's like, I just think that this should be like Derek X needs to stick with the royal flush. That's what's best for him. Stick with the plan. Don't mess around. What is in Derek X's best interest? Is it to go with his royal flush? Is going against this alliance going to hurt him?
I think at the end of the day, it made the most sense for him to take out 2 girls. He needs guys in the house. He does, because he needs to shield.
He's saying he wants Christian out ultimately as his target.
I get it, but I think what Xavier said to him was correct. Like, if he takes out a Christian, he's the number 1 target. Like, he is the number 1 target. Because he's gonna win competitions, and once Christian's gone, there's nobody to be scared of. You know, it's gonna become a pure social game, and then Xavier's gonna be the next one down that line. Like, Xavier understands that he has those 2 meat shields right now, and they're working for him, and he can't have those people go. He needs girls to go home.
Yeah, this week is sort of that's what Xavier would probably like to see happen. Did you see like Hannah was saying that like really I want Derek X's HOH to be my HOH? Do you think that
music? Did you love the music when she said that?
Yeah, I didn't pull it, but she was very happy.
It's an indescribable feeling. I'm so excited.
Yeah, she was pretty jazzed about her showmance, or I guess potential showmance in Derek X.
It's not romantic though, right? Like it's just their friends, right? Like
it's weird. I don't know. It's not quite a romance yet, but it could become one, maybe. But then they were having a little celebration tonight in the pantry, and it didn't feel romantic at all.
No, not at all.
There was like a hug, and then it was like, "Oh my god, you're cold."
Yeah, it was that, and it was also like, can we stop with the forced dancing in the because you have to do it or something?
Is it obligatory? According to Hannah, it was obligatory.
It's not. It's what they have made it obligatory the last few seasons, and I'm just tired of it. Like stop, please. I mean, from me to you, I feel fine.
If I ever caught somebody doing that in the house, I would make note of that. I'd be like, dude, I saw what you did.
I would walk in that pantry every second after a competition. If you know what's happening.
I just sit in there eating crackers. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I would pull out like an ice cream. I would start doing yoga in there. I would do whatever it takes just to stop it. You know, people would hate me and probably vote me out, but I don't care.
That was a dick move.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do though.
Might be. And so Hannah, there was also like that whole conversation flashback where Hannah and Sarah Beth were trying to smooth things over with each other from the past week, where Sarah Beth had been gunning hard for Hannah, and that was getting back to Hannah. And did Sarah Beth saw it as like, yeah, I'm being completely fake to her, but I had to sort of quash this idea. And you saw that Hannah was like, I don't know what to believe now. Is what Tiffany's telling me right, or is Sarah Beth, is she not as bad as she seems, or is she?
Yeah, well, after she found out about the royal flush, especially, she had people have got to be taking notice of how Tiffany is manipulating people in the house. It's so clear on the show anyway. I don't know if it's clear in the house. What do you think?
It doesn't seem to be, but why? And if it's not, then why haven't nobody's comparing notes and it's not catching up to Tiffany? Is Tiffany someone, if you're saying her name, she's gonna get upset with you. So people are gonna be hesitant to say anything that could be accidentally construed as negative towards Tiffany, right? Because we said she has that Vanessa Russo type of groupthink mentality or way she approaches it, right? So it's
okay. Amanda said that Taryn compared her to Dan Giesling, which I know you didn't really watch Dan play, Dave, but I don't agree. I think Dan was way more calculated and better in the house. He would not show his cards to everybody like that, the way Tiffany does. She goes around and starts here are my chess pieces. Dan Giesling would never do that. He might think it and he would tell the DR, but he would never play like that open with that many players and tell them his strategy like that. He
would he tell somebody who's not in his alliance about the alliance?
No, did with Hannah? Most likely no. But he would also have a much the way Dan played a lot, especially in his first season, he literally sat on a couch and read a book and just listened. How I said listening is very important. That's how he played. The second time he played he was a lot more cutthroat. He had he basically turned. He made Ian turn on Boogie. He also took Shane and I forget her name, Danielle, and he basically used them to get to the end. And he had this whole dance funeral thing, and there's a lot of stuff he did, but it was all very calculated. It wasn't I feel like Tiffany is her mind's racing too much, and she has to go to players and get it out of her mouth. And I don't feel like Dan did that.
He was more controlled.
More controlled, yeah, and did that more with one-on-one with players, but at the same time was very careful who he talked to. He would not. He was very good at controlling information within the house. I don't feel like Tiffany's good at that. Do you?
Not in comparison to how you're describing Dan. No. So from what she's a little sloppy for sure, and she has trust with she did have more trust maybe with Hannah, but then this kind of shook things right between Hannah and Tiffany a little bit for Hannah, because why didn't I know about this? And I thought I was good with you. I thought we had cookout, but obviously, and so Tiffany was trying to do some damage control. I don't know how much this will come back or not.
Well, okay, let's talk about that, Dave. Do you feel like that damage control was oh crap, or was it like, okay, I got to manipulate Hannah now, and I got to go on the offense, not the defense. You know, like that's kind of how I took it.
Oh yeah, she tried to. She was just trying to smooth it over as best she could.
Right, but like she was smart enough to know that Hannah's not a dummy. And you know what I mean? And so she was to me, it was like the first time we got to see Tiffany very vulnerable. Like, oh crap, I screwed up. Like her first instinct was like, "What'd he tell you?" Right? It's like, no, you did. You know, like, and it was like, oh shit, I feel like she thinks she's like literally the mastermind of the house, and that she knows everything, and so for me, it's like, I don't know, she like she has no fault. And she's definitely, like, to me, she's screwing up in the house quite a bit, and I don't think she realizes it.
Yeah, we have a comment here from Mary who's saying that DX and Tiffany are also becoming quite close, which is not. I'm not quite getting that impression on the show. They did have this conversation that we're talking about tonight, but does that surprise you to hear?
A little bit, but is that like because Tiffany has been working every HOH? Okay, so is that going to last next week when Sarah Beth wins and she puts up DX and Hannah on the block or something like that? Like, I feel like Tiffany just goes to where power goes. I don't think she has like true alliances. That's how I see her playing.
Sarah Beth.
Yeah, I think that you might be right about that. We're gonna see how this plays out long term with Tiffany, because I think that we don't really know if she's a great player or not yet. I think. But
she's giving me Vanessa Russo vibes, like, big time. But I mean, Vanessa finished third, so like, you know, like, these are the things. Like, she could definitely. To me, she is playing well, but at the same time, she's almost overdoing it. And so for me, like, that is like, when you overdo it, then you're almost playing bad. Like, you almost go right around the circle to playing bad.
But sometimes that goes all the way around, and you're like, no, but now everyone knows I play bad, so then no one would ever vote for me to win.
Right. That happens too.
But then they do vote for you to win. It's just so you don't really know what people are going to do. If they dislike you, if she doesn't have to make them to dislike her, then yes, right, I'll never give you the money.
I don't think she's unlikable or anything. Like, you know, it's just, she's obvious is to me the word to describe her the most. Like, to me, it's very obvious she's trying to be the mastermind of the season. And I think if I was another player in the house, I'd be like, oh, well, she's definitely getting the good edit right now. And she is, right? Like, do you agree she's getting like the mastermind strategist edit?
I'd say she's getting a positive, a more positive forward edit that's trying to present her as somebody who's working the angles, and like, maybe she is, like, is this sloppy? Is this not? I guess that part is, from what I can tell, it's not. Like, she's good at this game, right? Like, more or less, except when she drops her alliance name in front of non-alliance members.
She's the only one really playing, other than Hannah now, who just found out what's going on. Like, I feel like the big alliance is just trying to cruise, and now finally the big alliance is it's breaking itself apart. They've been found out, at least by Hannah. Whether or not Derek F, Azza, and Brittany find out about it, we might, because Sarah Beth's on the block, so Sarah Beth might go to Brittany and like tell her. I don't know. So we have to find out about that.
Yeah, we're gonna see how this plays out. DX was saying, the flush is flushed. And then we also had this other segment tonight with Big D and Azza, where he was telling her that you gotta like have more of a poker face sort of thing. You gotta fake it till you make it. Because Azza doesn't have much of a she doesn't know. So she was trying to do like a fake happy face.
I'm happy.
Did you buy it?
No, I mean, like, I really liked this segment because I can relate to Azza. Like, I don't like smiling just for the sake of, because I'm in a public function or something. Like, I'll smile if I'm happy. I understand what she's saying. Like, she doesn't like being phony. And so I can totally understand where she's coming from, but she's like, at the same time, you're on Big Brother. Part of being on Big Brother is being a big phony, and that's how you win the game, in a lot of ways. You have to be good at getting along with everybody. And not only that, presenting yourself in a way where people like you. And nobody likes somebody who's angry. You know, so if you are angry, try to, smile, even if it comes across disingenuous,
What is Oz's profession again? Isn't it something related to sales? Is it, or did I imagine that?
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
So wouldn't sales have smiling involved? She's a sales operations director.
Well, you should know what that means because you work in you got all those crazy stupid titles when you sell stuff.
Yeah, sales operations is not something. It's not a term I'm very familiar with, but it's.
They're all made up. They're all made up terms. It's a director of sales, or
And Mary's saying that she doesn't want to play like this, and it makes me mad because this is Big Brother. So you're saying that Oz is a bit of a disappointment, Mary? I think.
Well, yeah, I think that's what she's saying. That this is Big Brother. You have to be phony, like what I just said. You have to in order to succeed. Now, at the same time, they casted her on purpose. They wanted somebody that was hard, that I would imagine that is hard for them, that they are just who they are. They're genuine people and they don't know how to put on a face. I think at the same time, you look at Derek F, right? He said oh, my social game's off the hook tonight, right? When he was talking to Derek X, which I don't know if I would admit to the HOH, but at the same time, his strategy game sucks. I mean, he really has no idea, no clue what's going on in the house other than the cookout, right?
Right.
So seemingly, and so at least that's what the show tells us. So it to me, and neither does Azza, but if Azza had been picked not by Frenchie, she would know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? It's kind of no fault of her own. But at the same time, I understand what she's saying. She is kind of hard to party with, or get just strike up a conversation, because
resting B face, if you will.
I guess that's what she kind of what she's alluding to, but at the same time, I can understand how difficult it is to be happy and on all the time on Big Brother. Can we also talk about Brittany and the DR she's doing, where she's yo yo yo, and she's I don't know what's going on with her. What that's,
you mean towards the end tonight?
That, and there was a DR before that where she's oh, I'm not going on the block because da 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 da, and I'm just oh my god, I was cringing. It was so bad to watch.
I think Brittany's a fairly polarizing character for the Big Brother community, where I think some really appreciate her eccentricities, and I think other people do not so much. And I think it's sort of just a personal preference. Because Brittany is, she's got energy.
I was cringing so hard, Dave. It was rough to watch. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. Shout out in the comments, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's you don't want to say too many negative things, but it's not necessarily. She's okay. We'll see. I don't like to see her on the block, but then on the other hand,
it feels disingenuous. It feels like it's not her personality. So we go back to that thing with Azza, right? Where she, at least when Azza does her DRs, I know that's her, but when Brittany does her DRs, I feel like it's not her. I feel like it's not her real personality. She's putting it on too much. And for the show, I get in the house, it works, but for the DR and for the audience, I think it puts the audience off. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't. I don't know. I don't know if it's disingenuous. I just think it's sort of how her thought process is and how she presents.
It's not a
herself.
thought process. It's she's acting a certain way, Dave. I understand what she's telling me is fine, but it's her personality in the DR is different to me than
I never see a different version of her.
Okay, the first DR she does, she's yo, blah, 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 blah. Right? I don't even know what she said, but if you can get it, it's she, and then they put her on the block, and then you get to kind of see her real kind of personality. I think where I don't know if you have.
I absolutely don't think that I deserve to be nominated.
Okay, that's at the end. That's at
I don't have anything from tonight. This is from the one of the other times she was nominated, where she's I'm the only one who's been nominated multiple times, and I'm the only,
Right.
Oh my god, math.
Okay, what about what about all the stuff where Derek X, which I thought was really stupid of him to do, by the way, asking every single person up to the DR and being like, "Hey, so would you want to go up as a pawn?" No, I don't. No. It's like, who's gonna say yes, Derek X? Like, what? I just don't understand. Like, what are you doing? Like, do you look at that as bad strategy, Dave, or just poor HOH?
Yeah, I saw it as very novice HOH for sure.
Novice.
It just was like, well, I don't, he was ballsy in some ways to go for it, but on the other hand, I think that this is going to, like,
you don't ask every single person. That's what I think.
Yeah, and just like he's not presenting it in a good way. Like, if you're gonna say to even if you want to like fake this and say, "Hey, do you want to be a pawn? What's in it for me?" Like, okay, I'm going to put you a pawn because my real target is so and so,
right?
And you are you're the perfect person to go against this person as a if I wanted to get them out. That's the hit. Like, but I don't think you can say, well, they didn't want to volunteer to be a pawn, so therefore I'm going to hold it against them. I don't really get that logic either. I don't think it's much of an argument.
Do you know what my answer would have been to his question? It would have been, hypothetically, if I'm on the block, who's the target?
Yeah, exactly. I think that I think if you even want to have that false pretense, you have to have some kind of a narrative to go with that, right? Or what else? Like, the conversation has no trust, and so therefore it's just like, okay, I guess you need to put me up at this point, whether I'm a target or not. Who's to say?
Every single person that he asked, their face changed the minute he asked that question. Every single person.
It was very direct, very direct.
It was very direct, and it was also the wheels started turning in everybody's head. Oh, he's putting me up. Oh, he's shit. Because that's the question you ask of the person you're putting up. Usually the person you're targeting.
So he made at least like 5 people tonight feel like that they were probably going to go up.
Yeah, I think more.
Including Derek F., including who else did he like put on the spot?
Sarah Beth, Brittany, Azza, Xavier. It was like at least 5 or 6. Yeah, he didn't have one with Christian. He didn't have one with Alyssa. It seemed like, right? So there were players he left out.
Kylan we never saw.
So like, and he said that in his speech or whatever that he did talk to all of them. So maybe they didn't show us them all, which was kind of weird. But right. So maybe Mary Bass knows whether or not everybody got that same question. But it seems like everybody did except Hannah.
Yeah, it seems like Sarah Beth had a very negative reaction. Jeff, do you think that hers was too strong?
No, she had to do that. Like, she knows because Hannah's locked at the hip of Derek X. She had to be like, I'm gonna be pissed, and I think she needed to go harder. I think she really needed to be like, dude, I'm gonna be pissed if you like yeah. Yeah, so that's what I thought. I think he needed to say, like, I'm going to be pissed. Not only am I going to be pissed, I'm just going to start throwing the royal flush out. Like, that's it. That's done if you put me up. All these different things. So
throw a fit.
She needed to scare him. No, not a fit, and like she needed to scare him, I think.
Right. That this would not be worth it. And he was even saying, I don't think it's worth it to put her up as a pawn.
Yeah. And right? Hannah kind of convinced him to do it, I think, right?
She's like, well, let's think about this. Is Brittany going to put you up?
Right.
He's like, no. Then why do you want to put Brittany up?
But that is who we put up.
Oh yeah, but at least he was saying that Sarah Beth's the backup target because he wants to do this Christian thing, and they kind of agreed that putting him up directly gives him an automatic chance to win the veto. There's a good chance he will. He's already won 2. So therefore, if you're going to target him, it has to be backdoor. But Hannah was also like, you need to have a backup if like someone wins the veto and the noms stay the same or whatever. You can't do it. So
right, which could happen.
Easily, like this idea of a backdoors like come from this very like cocky place to me where you're like, well, I'm obviously going to win the veto and then I'm going to be able to control everything. or somebody I'm aligned with, or I'm going to be able to influence the veto holder. Maybe
it's all odds, Dave. So basically, if the HOH wins, you have the power. You can do whatever you want. If either people on the block win, they're going to take themselves off, so you can do whatever you want. The problem is when someone in the other 3 playing win the veto, then all bets are off.
Whether they might not serve their interest to see the nominations change,
right?
Okay.
Who doesn't like Derek X in the house? There's got to be somebody, right? Let's say it's Azza or something, and Azza wins the veto, right? She doesn't have to play it. She's like, perfect. I want one of these. She probably would for Brittany, obviously, but there are different players. Like maybe Xavier wins and he doesn't want to play because he knows whoever's going up is going to that would actually be a perfect example. If Xavier wins this veto, Dave, and he goes, oh, do I take Sarah Beth off because he knows Christian's going right up in her place? It would make more sense for him to put the veto back in the box, because then he ensures that Christian is not going home. The meat shield stays there, and he can campaign to make sure Brittany goes home instead of Sarah Beth. Right? So that's how a veto blows up in your face, like a backdoor plan.
Right. There's a lot of factors. There's still a lot of people in the house, and there's 11 other, or even if you're just thinking from Derek X and Hannah's point of view, right? Like there's 10 other people with 10 different agendas here. If they win the veto.
But a lot of them are going to want to take at least one of those people down. Like it is a good calculated odd. It's good noms, actually, in a lot of ways, just poorly executed in the way he went about it.
With these meetings?
Yeah, these meetings were stupid. Like all you have to do is be like have a few of those conversations. He didn't need to do that with every single person.
Right.
No, I don't know. Other than Hannah, because he knew he wasn't going to do it with Hannah.
He just seemed like he wanted to see the reactions, but I don't think he realizes how that might have shooken trust with some of those people too.
Yeah, like even like Alyssa tonight, right? She was like, "Oh, I feel so good with Derek X," not only because they made the deal, but because of the whole Royal Flush thing. But at the same time, I think they started to understand, at least Christian did, that no, if he's gonna come after me, it's gonna be backdoor. And so like here's a good example. If Christian wins the veto, right? He probably takes down Sarah Beth, right? Or he probably puts the bot. Well,
she's a fellow king. Right?
Yeah, but see, then Alyssa goes up. So he's not gonna want to do that. So then the veto goes back in the box. Like there's a bunch of things here where the veto could go back in the box.
Well, I think they would come. Yeah, like I think if Christian had the veto, and if he thought, that there was a chance Derek X would do that, like just put up Alyssa as then obviously he wouldn't want to do that. But if Derek X deceived him and like tricked him, that'd be a pretty dirty move. That'd be pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would.
I don't know if he has it in him.
Who?
Derek X.
To do what?
To do like something like, don't worry, Christian. If you use the veto to take down Sarah Beth, I will put up, like if he said I was going to put up Azza, but then he actually puts up Alyssa.
Yeah. That could happen, but that's up to Christian to not trust that. And you know what I mean? Like,
but we saw Christian's kind of an idiot, right? Like he was like, I'm good this week, no matter what. And I'm feeling great. He was overconfident.
But you saw him at the end. He said, I don't know why Derek X is putting Sarah Beth out. Like he's starting to realize that he can't trust Derek X.
Way too late. Like
why?
Xavier,
he had no reason not to trust
Xavier and Alyssa, I think, had better instincts, and so did Sarah Beth. Compared to the four kings, Christian was like the slowest to come around and kind of figure out that maybe Derek X, as an alliance member, is got something to be desired.
Yeah, and probably should have went after him last week, to be honest with you. Right. I don't understand what he got out of taking Whitney out last week. What was that? What did he accomplish? Whitney had nobody in the house. I didn't understand why. Like, what did that accomplish, Christian? Seemed to just accomplish the fact that other people wanted her out.
Just got a lady out because there was so it was like 3 guys went out in a row. So get a woman out. Whitney is a house target.
Sometimes the easy HOH is the wrong way to go. Like sometimes it's great. Like it makes sense. Like kind of like when Kylan took out Frenchie, or even when Brent got taken out. But this one with the Whitney one, I think was a mistake. I think he should have made a bigger move than he did.
Well, here, like Derek X doesn't have like an obvious pariah in the house. Like he doesn't have a Frenchie here or somebody like obviously everyone wants to get that person out, so that's who I'll target. But Brittany goes up here again as his pawn. Like, is that because she's not liked in the house, or is that just because she's easy to put up?
Easy to put up. Already been on the block a few times. As much as she cries about it, too bad. You know, like I can understand why he did it because nobody cares if she goes home other than Azah. She's, you know, really, to be completely honest with you, like Derek F doesn't even really care that much. I don't think. No, Derek F's not playing the strategy game. He doesn't need the numbers. He needs the social game to keep him in the house.
Social game, and he doesn't want to rock the boat too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of Derek F's whole sleeping segment tonight? Where
it was funny.
Listen, a brother needs to sleep.
Yeah, it was funny. I enjoyed it.
Do you think he has sleep apnea, Jeff?
No, I just think he's tired and he needs to sleep.
He might need like surgery.
Right, yeah. Barry's making a good point that because they didn't know that the team twist was going to end, that's why they took out Whitney. So that I can understand that, and like the whole we need to go after one team idea, but they had to have known that eventually the team twist was going to end. But you know, maybe not this week, maybe like by jury, which you know, but at the same time, maybe they thought it was going to go for a long time, and it was like almost going to be throughout the whole season, and then you know, because it did seem like that way at the beginning.
Yeah, like I guess they were hedging their bets, if you will, depending on whether the team stayed. But they were also like picking off the aces as well, right? With Hannah sort of being also a target that was talked about. But then Derek X wins power, and Hannah's right in his ear.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we have like the case here to me is that I thought this game was like the cookout was going to take it right to the end, and because the secret alliance under the covers that nobody knows about is really going to control the house. But then like Xavier proved to be tonight that that's not his like main strategic plan. Like he clearly wants to take the kings as far as he can because I understand why, because he needs the meat shields. Like, and I think
right. He would rather them go before like his cookout alliance too.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, and but at the same time, I think he wants those kings to go as far as possible into the game. They're
likely to vote for him in the final two, right? Like if they're on the jury, if they have a good relationship with. Oh, we were kings since the beginning. I got to vote for Xavier. He's probably thinking that. Yep. He's an attorney. He's thinking about jury votes even now.
Giving me lawyer vibes.
He's given lawyer vibes. Yeah, I would just scroll up.
You got
He's giving me lawyer vibes.
I have so many sounds now. It just takes. I have to like get to that name. Yeah. So okay. Is there anything else we missed in the episode tonight?
I don't think so.
Yeah, are you getting enough? What are you not getting enough of in terms of like the Sunday night edit?
Claire's not on the show whatsoever. There was literally a scene tonight where it was Tiffany and so who else was it? I think Hannah talking to each other, and Claire was there. And they didn't even she didn't say anything. They showed the back of her head. That was it. Boom. You know, she's
a listener. She's like Guinan.
I know, but she needs to be on the show. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you can't have a player on the show like that's just never on the show. Like I pointed this out like literally the last like 6 episodes that we've watched, Dave. Right. And like, do you know
the Kings have? Mary's confirming that the Kings have talked about voting for each other at the end, so they want to see each other's. The four of them stay in the game, especially be the only team intact into jury.
All right. The other person is Kylan. Kylan is like barely on the show right now as well. And I don't really get why, because he seems like he's a good character on the show, and like kind of.
I don't think he is. I think he's a good guy in real life. I think he's like a good character in terms of like his social game in the house, but I don't think he's a good DR personality. I have no Kylan sound bites. I have nothing he said ever that's funny. Right. I have nothing like. It's just like it's just
everything is monotone. Everything is blah, monotone, and even Xavier has way more quips, and he's kind
Xavier's
of
got like
too,
a deeper monotone voice, but
yeah,
Xavier has way more like inflections and way more like personality, I find, than Kylan does.
Well, have you ever heard the theory, Dave, that the show really decides who goes home, not the players? Have you ever heard that theory before?
Sure, like that it's all predetermined.
Not predetermined, but like the producers sway the players because to certain players that are not getting ratings, okay?
Right.
And because they want those players out of the house at a certain point because the show's not doing as well if they get further down in the game because people aren't going to tune in as much. They're not as polarizing personalities. They're too monotone. They're like all these things that we're talking about. Kylan, Claire is trying. I'll give her credit. She's trying, but it's not working.
Is Kylan even trying?
He's not like a great personality. No, like Claire, I'll give her credit, is trying harder in the DRs. It's coming across like very disingenuous and very like over the top. But at least she's trying. Kylan is very laid back. He's so safe. He's, he really, really is. Tiffany, I really enjoy watching as far as a game player, but it's like I cringe sometimes because I'm like stop it, like tell the DR more than what you're doing in the house. I feel like she's over the top. Who else am I missing? Okay, yeah, Azza and Derek Gaff and Brittany seem to always go into one room and cry about what's going on in the house instead of actually doing something about it. Yeah, like so I do think like if we see like a Claire and a Kylan and certain players go home like early in jury, I think like there's something to that. Like the producers do like to kind of sway the game. Like there's a reason why Paul never went home. You know what I mean? Like
they gave him like all these safeties. They would just write all these safety powers in for these people.
Yes.
And Mary's pointing out here that Claire is third on the list of most liked players, Jeff. How is that possible?
Because there's nothing to dislike about her because we don't know anything about her.
She got a New York accent.
She got a New York accent. She likes to do yoga. That's it. Like that's all I know about her. Like
she's an AI computer programmer.
She's playing like a game bot because like it's just like it's like uber safe. She's just laying low. She's safe all the time. Nobody is bringing her. Nobody brings her name up ever. For like, I know she's safe, but nobody goes like, maybe we should get Claire out at some point, or like nothing like that ever. I don't know who she's super tight with. I don't. The show doesn't show me.
But
she's in the Queens.
Tiffany said that she has Claire, but she was like saying that to somebody else,
She said that because she's in the Queens with her, and it's like Tiffany likes to act like, like I got numbers, I got her, I got that person, I got this person, I got the cookout. She's got her hands in every cookie jar. That's how she's playing, and she's the only one really playing that way. So it's to me, it's gonna come across super obvious to the rest of the players. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not coming across super obvious.
I just think it's hard to know, have that perception of the reality once you're in there too. I think it's always, you don't have that same perspective.
Well, my body perceives my intelligence, Dave.
Oh, right. I wish I had that as a clip. My body. Talk about stupid.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Talk about stupid.
Okay, let's get into Jeff. Do you think we can get into some spoilers?
Yeah. You want to know who won the veto?
Yeah, we can. I do. I just looked it up myself. I know it hasn't actually. The ceremony hasn't happened yet, but the competition has. So we're gonna get into looking ahead as we go look ahead to our Wednesday night podcast. We'll be back here to talk about the Power Veto episode. We'll see that play out. We'll talk about who won that episode and everything out there. So we're going to talk about that now in the next spoiler section. So if you're dropping out here, make sure to check out everything here on Superman.
I don't know if I'm still on here or if Dave's frozen. It seems like I'm still on here. So I will go into the veto. So if anyone's still paying attention and can hear me, I'm going to break it down. Okay, so this spoilers. If you're not a spoiler person, get out of here now. Okay, Brittany won the veto. Okay, it was that competition where they pick like prizes or safety or all sorts, that kind of an idea. They usually do it around this time in Big Brother. Sometimes it's a little bit later. But this one was interesting because Brittany ended up winning it, but she didn't like earn that win. Sarah Beth gave it to her and took $5,000 instead. So yeah, that in and of itself. If you can still hear me, Mary Beth, just throw a comment in the chat, just so just say yes, just so I know that now I'm not talking to myself here. Yeah, I'm connected. Yeah, okay. Dave I don't know what's going on with Dave. Yeah, so that is crazy that Sarah Beth could have had safety and decided not to take it. And the punishments included DX has a 24-hour bathroom attendant role. Kylan got Jackass Club. Alyssa got a phone call and still waiting on the others. So, yeah. Will they still stick to the plan to put Christian on the block? Maybe that's what Sarah Beth knew, that Christian's going home anyway. I'll take the 5K. Watch Christian go home and not care. Yeah. So I don't know what Dave seems to have lost his connection. So what I'm going to do is just message him just like, because sometimes this program tells people, you're in. Oh, here he comes. Dave, are you there? Can you hear me? I think I'm still live. Yeah, I know. A phone call. I don't understand what the phone call was either, but that's what she got. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dave, I can't hear you or see you. I know I see you're there, but there's I don't know what's going on. Do you want me to refresh? Maybe I'll try that. Yeah, no, I still don't see you, Dave. I don't know what's going on with your connection. But I guess, for spoilers, I guess we'll just go with this. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So the players that played in this were, okay, so we had Kylan, Claire, and Alyssa, besides Derek X, Brittany, and Sarah Beth. So those were the players. That gives Christian at least one player playing for him, which was Alyssa. But she refused to believe that Christian is in danger this week, as she even discussed using the veto to save Sarah. Good grief. So will it come to that? Let's see who won the veto, and then that was Brittany. So so that's what's going on with the spoilers right now. Oh, Dave, there you are. What was going on?
I don't know. Like I was talking for a long time. Was no one able to see me?
No, like ever since you hit the spoilers, I've been running solo here.
I was doing the whole show by myself. I thought I was doing the thing. This happened to me in Gibraltar, where we didn't know which one of us was still on the air.
Yeah, I was in reality. I figured out that because Mary Bass said that she could hear me, and so did B Bean. So I figured out that because sometimes my internet goes down, but that's not the case right now. That's hilarious though that you kept going.
I kept going. I was plugging the shows. I was doing everything, and then I was like, okay, dead air.
Could you hear me?
No, I thought you were the one who had dropped off. So I thought I just had to carry the show. Yeah. I was here the whole time. It was, and I saw the comments like starting to populate too. And I was like, okay, so but then there was like, no, Dave. I was like, are you saying you can't hear me? Anyway, so.
Did you hear what I said about the veto?
Well, no, I'll tell you what I was telling the audience that couldn't hear me. I was saying that Brittany won the veto, and is presumably taking herself out.
Get ready for the veto. Get ready for the veto. Get ready for the veto.
Yeah, I'm ready. Dave, you do cover the veto the way you want to, and then the commenters can tell us which one was better.
Which one was better? Well, listen, Brittany. I guess my question that I was asking was, Jeff, do you think that Derek X will go through with this plan to put up Christian next to Sarah Beth now? It's a pretty bold statement.
Yes, I do.
Right, because it's like he's lighting he can't even have a false pretense that Sarah Beth's a pawn if he puts up Christian next to her.
Did you know what the competition was though, and what happened?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, so that's what I was explaining to them. Okay, so it's that the challenge where it's like pick a prize or pick a punishment type thing. It's like then they go through.
Oh yeah, right.
It's that challenge, right? Okay, so what ended up happening, Dave, was Sarah Beth had the opportunity to take the veto, and she chose to take $5,000 instead, and so Brittany won it by default. She didn't really win it. Okay, so this is important because if Sarah Beth had won it, she still would have played it on herself, but now he's going to play it, and we're going to see probably Christian and Sarah Beth beside each other. So guarantee a king is going home. Whereas if she had played it on herself, then they could have tried to rally numbers and take Brittany out. But that's not going to happen anymore.
Because she sold that Christian for $5,000.
She did, yeah. She sold her own teammate out for $5,000. But the thing is, they think they're so safe that Derek X, when he goes and does that, all the blame is going to be on him anyway. So it probably was a good move at the end of the day because Sarah Beth's not going home. If Sarah Beth knew that,
well, she would have. If the nominations had stayed the same, no, but she would have been able to take herself down. So if she'd taken herself down, it would have been different.
But then, Christian would have went up besides Brittany, and then, you could have been like, okay, Xavier and all these, different players that maybe want to save Christian. You could rally the numbers. It would have been a close vote. I don't think it would have been unanimous. Now it's like if Christian goes up in Brittany's place, I think you're going to see Christian go. And pretty resoundingly. I don't think too many people are going to vote for him other than Alyssa, maybe Xavier.
Yeah. Interesting comment here from Mary. She says that Big D and Azza said if they get a chance that they would put up Hannah and Tiffany now. Isn't that fellow cookouts? Is that cookout on cookout?
The cookout is going to blow apart at some point because it can't last. It's too much of a majority of the house that once coinciding alliances start going at each other, they're not going to be able to protect each other forever. I'm glad that they did for jury, but I think the cookouts kind of go out the window once jury hits.
We're almost there anyway. So now it's it's a non-cookout is not going to be lose a number this week. It seems like, right?
Yeah, right.
DX doesn't even know about the cookout.
Nope. And so Hannah didn't tell him that, so I guess they were both keeping alliances.
Yeah, Hannah wants to be all high and mighty about not being told about the royal flush.
I don't think she was high and mighty. I think she took it with like a good amount of oh, so you didn't tell me this, she was good tongue in cheek, I guess is what the phrase I'm looking for, because she did not. I expected her to be very condescending and very mean about not knowing about that. But she wasn't. She actually played well, so I was impressed.
Yeah, Mary's also saying that Tiffany is maybe targeting Big D or saying something about him going up. Who knows? I think that if you look at Tiffany the wrong way at certain times, she may try to rally things against you.
I don't know what the French you thought, but let me tell you what really is going on.
In my opinion, in her head, Tiffany thinks she's way smarter strategically than everybody there. And in my opinion, she is in a lot of ways. But at the same time, she's overplaying her hand and letting too many people know what's going on.
Is when you have some spice, Jeff, and you go to sprinkle it. It's got the little holes in the top so that you don't get too much. Is the little top falling off?
Sprinkle a little seasoning on that.
Is Tiffany actually dumping the entire bottle of spice?
It's like too much jerk seasoning,
too much seasoning.
Yeah, I think
overpowering it.
It's overpowering.
Yeah.
It's like dumping a whole thing of the jerk Jamaican spice all over that, and you go to eat it, you go, oh no, that's too spicy. Yeah,
or too salty, or
too salty.
Yeah. No worries. Derek F and Azza will not win HOH. I would love if Derek F somehow randomly won HOH even by accident, it just fell into his lap. I would love to see how that plays out.
I want, yes. Like, all right, I was telling Amanda earlier, like, I don't cheer for individuals in Big Brother. I cheer for the house not to get their way. You know, like, and she's like, what do you mean by that? I was like, whatever the majority of the people want, I want the opposite to occur. You know, so the majority of the people in the house, like right now, are probably very happy with what the noms are, right? Like
we're now probably not that happy that Brittany won this. A lot of them wouldn't be happy with that.
Right. Which I'm actually very happy that, but they will be happy once Christian goes out, right? Like the majority of the house, all except the only people who are not going to be happy with that are Xavier, Alyssa, and maybe Sarah Beth. But Sarah Beth's on the block, so she definitely doesn't care whoever goes up on the block. She needs to be a bigger target than herself, right, to stay in the house. So she'd probably be happy that Christian went up, you know. So there's all these different things that actually kind of like, I think like his noms were really good this week, but at the same time, like how he got there was not so good.
Well, what would be the worst case scenario he could do? Like replace Brittany with like Azza, and that would be like a really dumb move.
Who would go home over Sarah Beth? That would be dumb, like for him to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because Sarah Beth going home, I don't think really affects.
Well, I just think Sarah Beth taking this $5,000, I think is going to like I might vote her out just on principle, you know, like because you thought you were that safe that you were willing to not take yourself off the block,
right? I mean, I kind of hope it does bite her in the butt, even though I have her in the draft. I mean, like, I hate take the veto. Like, you're getting paid to be on the show. Like, you know, like, what are you doing? Why are you taking 5,000? Like, if it was 25,000, sure, take it. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't seem worth it. It seems like in the grander scheme of winning 750,000, right. you like the collateral you're potentially losing there by taking this, showing that I didn't care that I was on the block. Ultimately, Christian might go home because of this. Alyssa might have some bitter feelings about that down the road too. Although she might be stuck with Sarah Beth as an ally at that point. She may not have much choice, but you know, I think that seeing how this the royal flush is getting pulled apart this week and what sort of the aftermath, because we know that the cookout seems to be also boiling over, not you know, and what is sort of the new post jury house, I guess, dynamic power structure.
Dave, do you want to hear what the punishments were?
The punishments for what?
The veto comp. You know how, like I said.
Oh yeah, they had to wear like a chicken costume or something.
Okay, yeah. So DX has a 24-hour bathroom attendant role. So he has to, whoever goes to the bathroom, I guess he has to like stand by it and give them toilet paper. I don't know what he has to do, but that's his.
He has to be like a maitre d' in a bathroom. Does he have to give them like a fragrance?
Like, yeah, and, that's like kind of when you go to a club, you know, and for whatever reason, some guy wants $5 to give you soap. Yeah, that, okay. You know.
24/7 he has to do this as HOH.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing that is. Kylan got Jackass Club, which I'm guessing is like that's either like an ode to like Jackass, the new movie that's coming out, Jackass Forever or whatever. I don't think it's coming out till November though, or it's just like, I don't know, like a donkey thing. I don't know what it is. Like, you know, I'm confused, but that's what I'm
confused by that as well. Like maybe you have to electrocute yourself or something, or ride a shopping cart down a hill.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, something like that.
Catch a bat with your teeth, whatever they do in Jackass these days.
Yeah. Ride a bike into like a wall. I don't know. Alyssa got a phone call and still waiting on we don't know about the others yet. I don't understand what the phone call thing is.
Maybe she got a phone call. Like, she got like,
is that like the like Big Brother like calls her and she has to like pick it up and talk to Big Brother like you know, all the time, like in the middle of the night and stuff. Like I could see something like that.
Maybe it would be it probably is. That's what they usually like to do is torture you by waking you up constantly.
Because they're acting like middle schoolers.
And okay, what else do they have?
That's all we know so far. Yeah, that's kind of what I got for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this: do you feel like the game is looking a little bit more promising this week and maybe beyond this week because this Royal Flush and these two majority alliances seem to have been disrupted quite a bit this week. We'll see how this Wednesday plays out. How ultimately what DX does in terms of his renom when Brittany presumably takes herself down, but. I feel like there's what will Tiffany do with the next HOH?
She will suck up whoever it is. It doesn't matter. That's how she plays. She will start manipulating that person and try to do whatever she can to make sure that it's not her. She kind of has like a Sandra vibe to her too, because like it's like anybody but me, and I'm gonna make sure it's anybody but me because I'm gonna get in good with whoever the HOH is. That's how she kind of plays. Also, apparently last night, Sarah Beth was lamenting to Kai that she shouldn't have thrown that HOH, that DX one, because she felt safe. Does she know what game she's playing? She's an entitled little fool. I'm reading a comment, but yeah. I hope. Well, I hope she goes this week. So I'm like, oh, okay.
I haven't gotten a lot of Sarah Beth on the show. She's not driven any sound bites. The only one I have is this.
And I will be mad.
I'll be mad.
And I will be
I'm
mad.
So mad at you.
Yeah, her and Hannah are very similar because they're both like the condescending girl that like is like you kind of uses like the guilt.
How dare you?
How dare you? Yeah. And I
will be mad at you.
Why are you going after me? All that kind of stuff. So, because as if
the coffee in the coffee maker.
As if that's going to work. Like that whole strategy does not work, in my opinion, especially later onto the game. People get tired of that. Like you can't just bully people with, well, I'm going to get mad. Like I did say earlier that she should have made DX scared because it works early. But then people start getting tired of it. People start going, okay, screw you. We're putting you up and I don't care.
Oh, you're going to be mad at me? Well, it won't matter after you leave the house.
It works early, but it does not work later.
Yeah, and they kind of know what it's like to vote people out now. They've done it 4 times.
Yeah.
Anything else on the spoiler front?
No, I just that it's a good result for the viewers, and I think that for the most part, this is going to be a fun veto because it is kind of unpredictable who he's going to put up, and even if he puts Christian up, it'll be nice to see a King go because they were dominating. That's for sure.
It's like the best case scenario I think this week because like I think it's like dropping the gauntlet. Derek X is saying that the Royal Flush is done, and now you're going to see new sides. I think two new sides of the house form. That won't be so secret. Whether the cookout is sort of able to survive it, I'm not so sure.
I think the cookout was to me, it was a thing for the pre-jury. It was to make sure that it wasn't like a string of people of color going home at the beginning of the game, which does seem to happen quite a bit. And like Mary has said, like literally, I don't think a black person has made it to the final 3, in Big Brother history. So like, I do understand like why it exists, but I don't know. I don't think it's a tight alliance that really is like where people strategically want to work with each other, where they even really like each other all that much. It's just like it's a strategy. It's an alliance of convenience and to get you further, which it makes it like I get it. They're trying to change the narrative, but at the same time, I don't think that's the alliance that was controlling the house, and that was the impression I had from what the show was telling me. But actually that's not the case. It's kind of what BB said last week, where it's like think of it as like level 6, but it's even level 6 was controlling the house even more. But it was like secretive alliance that's like underneath everything that is kind of just there to make sure that things go a certain way so that the jury looks the way they want it to.
Right. Oh, what's this? Did you two comment on the Sarah's row your boat song? Do you know anything about Sarah Beth having a row your boat?
Yeah, it was in the episode tonight. It was weird. It was very
weird.
Yeah.
Where did I miss this?
It was at the beginning of the episode, I believe, and I have no idea why it was a thing. Like it was strange.
I didn't catch that. Maybe it's a good thing. We also have a comment here from Mary saying everyone is thinking that Tiffany is in with DX's ear, and Kyland is telling people that no, he is the one. So Kyland is the one secretly calling the shots with DX. Says Kyland.
I don't think people really know because DX doesn't have his ride or die appears to be Hannah, but I don't know if that's true. But was Kyland on the episode tonight in his ear?
No.
The show
didn't even have a meeting with him tonight.
Right. And I'm not saying that's not happening on the live feeds, but the show is not portraying that to us. So the show doesn't even believe that, So whether or not that's true, maybe they hide that from us to make it a red herring, make it seem like Hannah's his ride or die, but it's really not. Like they do that kind of the weird editing sometimes to throw you off. But at the same time, I'm a little unsure of how much Kyland is really controlling in the house.
Yeah, he seems to be someone of note. Mary's confirming that. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see. I really hope he does put up a Christian in this veto. I think it's going to be. I think it will. If Derek X could go on to win the game, I think that this would be like maybe the moment we say this is where he really started to do something.
Girls love the curls.
When he takes out this guy who he claims to be tight with, and then he stabs him right in the back first chance he got.
Yeah, so this is a good question. As of today, has each of your winner picks changed? So yours was Xavier and mine was Kyland. Are you going to change your winner pick, Dave?
I'm not going to change it yet. No, I think Xavier is doing everything pretty well. I think he is well positioned in this game, and I think he's looking many steps ahead. I thought he played was there anything he did tonight that would you say that Xavier is a long shot to win this?
No. To me, it's about you have to be likable. You have to be able to get to the end of the game, and people have to be willing to vote for you.
They have to respect you
once you do.
They have to respect
those.
you.
Those are the three things about picking winner picks.
I don't think they have to like you so much. But it's
how are you going to get to the end without being liked? How are you going to get to the end without being liked? If people find you annoying, you're not going to get to the end. Like Brittany isn't going to get to the end. If she does, no one's going to respect her for doing it.
Well, what if you're a Victoria?
Well, that's how Victoria got to the end because they knew nobody respected her. She wasn't really well liked. They kept her because she wasn't well liked. It's kind of a bad example to me. And she was never going to win. If you picked Victoria to win in 16 at any point, you were totally way off the base because
Interesting comment here too from Mary saying Tiffany stayed in the room with DX last night and today and has been with him all day. Do you think that this is like a bit of a stalker thing, or does DX like it?
I think he probably has a hard time telling her, hey, can you leave me alone?
He seems to have a problem telling people with boundaries. Remember with Brent?
Yeah. Every nook and cranny of this place, he looks for me.
Yeah.
Jeff,
back to you. Has your winner pick changed? Are you still with Sarah Beth and Hannah, or would you even pick somebody else?
Okay, I'm gonna change my winner pick. I'm gonna change it to Hannah.
Well, Hannah was already one of your picks.
No, my winner pick.
Okay, who's your winner? Who was it before?
Kyland. And the reason why I'm picking Hannah to win the game is because I think she's figured out that you need to play a certain way and you need to listen. And we talked about the comparison to Dan Giesling earlier. To me, the one that's playing the most like Dan Giesling, at least from this episode, is Hannah. She's listening the best. She's understanding the alliances in the house without blowing them up and getting emotional about it. She's really she changed my opinion on her tonight, and I didn't think she was going to. So kudos to her.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
And
I like sweet nothings whispered in my ear. Was that good?
Yeah.
There's Hannah.
Do you like that pick, Dave? Do you think that's a good explanation of why I changed my pick?
Well, I like BB's comment here. He's like, I don't think Andy Herron was well liked so much.
Nobody was well liked on that season.
Yeah,
literally, let's go through the people of that season.
Spencer,
Spencer. We had
Gina Marie,
we
Judd,
had McCrae, Amanda Zucker,
McCrae and Amanda, Jesse.
No. Like
Yeah.
I mean, Andy
They
Herron
were all
kind of,
unlikable. That was what I loved about that season. They were all like despicable people mostly.
Andy Herron wasn't. He was not well liked because of the way he played. He was very. Andy Herron was very much like Tiffany, very similar player.
Yeah. Well, Andy reminds me. Andy was such like a little snake. Anyway, I don't like almost. I don't know if he would remind me directly of it. But Mary is sticking with X. I'm with you, Mary. It's all about
It's a
the
good
X
pick.
man.
It's a good pick. He's going to be a big target though. If Christian goes home and then Derek X goes home at some point, he's an easy pickoff.
Mm-hmm.
I think my ruse is working.
I don't, especially if Christian goes home this week, because people saw tonight like the wall comp. That was impressive what he did there, and he didn't need to. He knew he didn't need to do that. What
He
was
didn't
he
need to
do?
come second place. No.
He should have let Alyssa and Derek X like battle it out, but I guess he thought,
Did he hold on to that so Tiffany wouldn't win? Do you think?
Maybe that's a good point. He didn't explain really why he held on. He basically just said, he basically said why he shouldn't hold on to us in the DR, right? He didn't really explain why he was trying.
He said, but he said he had to. But he's like, I have to make it look like I'm trying. And you go, why? Why do you have to make it look like you're trying?
You don't, he could have been like, my big shoulders and like usually the big upper body is bad for that comp. You just say my muscles hurt after an hour, people are really threatened by Kylan right now, even more than X. That's even more of a reason for Xavier to want to keep Kylan around a little longer. Exactly. These are all these different meat shields that are going to get picked off. Xavier's not going to look good at the end. Like,
you can knock off Christian now because he's such a powerhouse.
Yeah.
But DX has to be saying, "I'm next."
I don't think he is. I think like Xavier made that point directly to him, Dave, and he kind of just went, "Well, I still want to get Christian out." Like it's kind of what he.
Well,
thought.
I think that he's like without Christian here, because he's thinking maybe I win the veto, and we've had 4 veto competitions, 2 won by Christian, 2 won by DX, and so he's like, without Christian here, I have like 100% chance of winning the veto competition. You don't, but he in his mind, he thinks he will.
I don't think it's 100%, but I do think he thinks that is definitely his biggest competition, especially in veto comps. And if they're not aligned, which they don't really seem to be tight, then I kind of want that guy out too. But I wouldn't take him out this week. I would have waited. I would have, for me, like I would have went after Tiffany. But according to Mary, Tiffany's really good manipulator. She is really good at getting in with whoever she needs to get in with and convince them, go after this person or go after that person or don't go after me. Very much like Sandra, like a very good player that way. And Sandra won 2 Survivor seasons. It's a very effective strategy, but you can't go around to everybody and tell them what you're doing. Like on Survivor, it's very clear cut. Like basically it's like, this side or that side, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be a close vote most of the time. Whereas Big Brother, it's like a majority rules a lot because it's just based off who wins HOH, and then it's just it's all like, okay, manipulation of that HOH. If you can manipulate the HOH every single time, then it's
you might get addicted to it too. It sounds like that's what Tiffany maybe has.
Yeah.
Just imagine when she actually is HOH.
Oh God, I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch that season that week, because oh my God, that's going to be power hungry. HOH-itis of all time. I mean, it's like
imagine Tiffany's the one who takes DX out, especially after this week where she's cozying up to him, and then live by the sword, die by the sword.
Imagine, because I think everyone would give her props, and rightfully so. But I think if she did it next week, it would be like it's way too soon. Like I do think she probably backdoor him at some point, but
because everyone say you have such a resume now, Tiffany. We have to get you out. So you can, if you make a big move like that too early, it's like winning too many comps or whatever. Tiffany wants Sarah Beth out. That's no surprise and not much of a spoiler either. Christian said if DX wants him out, she will get him out.
Yeah. So
not Christian. Oh, I see. So Tiffany would rather, okay, even if Christian is that is the put up against Sarah Beth. They would rather Tiffany would rather put the vote on Sarah Beth.
And who does Tiffany have sway over where she could definitely get them to vote for Sarah Beth?
I guess Claire,
right? Kylan,
maybe Azza,
maybe, yeah. Derek F, maybe. But if you look, who would want Christian out? Okay, over Sarah Beth. Xavier would want to probably vote out Sarah Beth, not Christian.
Yeah. So could Christian even go up and then survive it? And then what is that? DX.
Does DX's mind blow when Sarah Beth walks out the door? And that would be a great moment because, like, I got this backdoor plan. I'm getting the biggest threat out, and all of a sudden Sarah Beth walks out the door, and it's like, oh shit. And then like Christian wins HOH, and it's again we're back to the Christian and Alyssa show. You know what I mean? And they survived this week, which I didn't think was possible. I thought Christian or Alyssa were going home for sure.
Or at least going up. At least one of them going up Sunday night. Like at least Alyssa, who has been nominated before, so you can always have that excuse. Well, you've been up before. But no. Even though she was sad, I think because she was so sad.
Who was sad?
Alyssa, remember? Like she was
with the veto in the DR. She was.
I'm just upset.
Yeah, I'm just upset. I didn't win. That was
My
her competition.
smile is really bad.
I can understand, like, if you felt like a competition was your competition to win, which I do feel like that competition was hers to win. It was between her and DX for me. That should have won it.
And obviously Xavier was capable of winning it too.
Yeah, I could. Well, I didn't. If we were doing odds before, I don't think he would have had high odds. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
I think
normally his body type does not do well in this competition.
Right. And so I was surprised how well he did, but at the same time, like if I was Alyssa, it's kind of like when Parvati like wins that one where she holds her arm up with the bucket of water or whatever. Like that, these type of competitions are designed for the girls, really. I mean, Nicole Franzel's I think won this thing twice. Like they're designed for short girls because if you weigh 100 pounds and you're under 5'5",
your center of gravity is lower too.
Yeah,
right?
Like there's a reason why Derek F couldn't do it. It's because his center of gravity is just not going to work out on that type of a competition. Yeah. He has a 0% chance probably of winning that. But he has a better chance of winning something where it's like strength or so like the competitions are always kind of all over the place.
Interesting one here too. According to BB, Sarah Beth has 5 votes to stay right now. How many are voting this week? 9.
So who is Christian going to go on the block? It seems like that's the case, right?
It sounds like, let's say assume he does. So then, but these 5 would vote to evict Christian, therefore keep Sarah Beth, right?
That's 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So and who are the votes to want to vote out Sarah Beth? It would be then we would have
Xavier and unless we have this backwards, like
no, that seems right. Xavier would definitely want to keep Christian, so he would want to vote out Sarah Beth. Then who would? Okay, so
who are we missing here? So I guess it's
Brittany. Who's Brittany going to vote for? Obviously, she doesn't really care if Paulie goes home, but yeah, I would imagine she's just going to go with the majority. There's only going to be Alyssa. We don't have Alyssa's vote. Alyssa's going to vote out Sarah Beth.
Yeah.
As well. So Xavier, Alyssa, and Brittany could all vote together. That's 3. Whereas it seems like, like if that's 6 votes together, they can vote out whoever they want.
There are 9 votes this week.
I could see Derek F definitely wanting to take out Christian because in his mind, the problem with the house is the Kings are dominating and Christian's a big part of that.
BB saying that 5 of these 6 at least will vote for Sarah Beth to keep Sarah Beth over Christian.
5 of those 6. So like, let's say Tiffany wants to vote out Sarah Beth. Right, which we kind of were alluding to earlier. She wants to go with Xavier and Alyssa, and which is kind of funny. And so
this would kind of put the Kings on the outs of the vote, right?
Yeah, like this is what is happening this week. It seems like, yeah, it's 9 total votes and 5 to stay. So it's going to be a 5-4 vote. There's no tie. There's no HOH break. So it could be a 5-4 vote. It could be very interesting. I see it 6-3. I could see that. Because I could see, yeah, like Xavier and Alyssa being kind of on an island of wanting to keep Christian.
Yeah. Like, I think everyone say, like, if you have an opportunity to get Christian out, why wouldn't you?
Right. But like in Xavier and especially, obviously Alyssa's mind, keeping Christian's good for their games, But
it's also in Kylan's best interest to keep Christian around. He doesn't see that.
Well, if Xavier can convince Kylan, like, look, like we need the meat shield, then he could flip that vote. And then all of a sudden, if he has Brittany's vote, that's 4, and then he just needs one more, and it's like, who do you flip? Do you flip, do you try to flip Tiffany? Do you try to flip, Hannah? Hannah's going to do what the HOH wants probably, right? Are you going to try and flip Derek F? That's an option. Although I don't see him wanting to take out Sarah Beth. I see him wanting to take out, Christian, because I think, like, again, the problem, I think, for especially the jokers in the house, like Azza and Derek F and Brittany, is the Christian of it all. They need a big threat out. They need a big competition threat out.
Yeah. So that people will take them a little more seriously as allies as well, too.
Yeah. Like they literally look at them like, well, you're never going to win because you guys suck. And
you'll never be Christian.
You'll never be Christian. You're never going to beat Derek X, and you're probably never going to beat Xavier, So, like, it makes sense why the King Queen thing happened. It makes sense, that the jokers are on the outs because they're not really good at competitions. Let's face it. Like, Azza couldn't roll a ball down a ramp. Derek F can't hold on a wall, and Brittany couldn't do math. So like, so these are the things. Kai won't want to vote out Sarah Beth. He's cuddling with her, right? But he's not telling her about alliances usually. But
no,
Oh my God, math.
Yes. Yeah. So like the jokers, I think, are looked at as a laughing stock of the house. No, very much pun intended.
Sorry. Wow.
Sorry. Like Brittany won. All right. So guaranteed when we see the episode, Dave, Brittany is like going to be like, she got thrown the veto from Sarah Beth because she wanted the money.
Oh, but she'll take all the credit.
She'll take all the credit. Look, they said I couldn't win.
Let's go, baby!
Wow! Right? Like, she's just going to go nuts about how awesome she is and how great. They're finally going to respect me and my competition prowess and blah, 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 blah. Like, she's just going to go nuts.
But she lost the 5,000, right?
Who?
So presumably it was Brittany who lost the 5,000.
Yeah, like it sounds like Sarah Beth had the choice between the veto and the 5K, and she chose the 5K and gave the veto.
Hence gave the veto to Brittany. But so is Brittany going to take credit for that veto win, even though it was given to her?
Come on.
Will she be sad about the $5,000 though?
No. Oh no. Brittany doesn't care about the money. I don't think. The ego boost that she's going to get out of this is going to be off the charts.
It's going to be I'm packed full of
I'm packed full of punch.
Yeah.
And veto wins. What?
That's worth more than $5,000 to Brittany.
That's true.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to potentially kick your ass in this comp and shut you up a little bit.
She's so great. Like she is great in the DRs because she is so ridiculous.
I'm gonna shut you up.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut you up because people tell me to shut up. People tell me I'm no good. And yeah, baby, whoa, let's go! Like just unbelievably animated. It's like the opposite of like Kylan. Like
I want this so bad now.
Like I said last week, I think they casted people to be opposites, like Whitney and Sarah Beth, like total complete opposite people. Like or Claire, like just like the people they casted this season it's unbelievable how
because they have a lot in common, but there's a lot of differences too.
Just the way they are in the DRs and stuff, like just their personalities. Like even tonight, like how happy Derek X was when he won or whatever, and I just felt like I said to the TV, I was like, "Calm down, like Take
Yeah,
it easy.
Take it down a notch there. You know,
Take her easy.
Like,
Well,
he
you
was
want
like
to-
he was doing the let's go. Why does everyone do let's go?
I hate let's go. Stop with let's go. Can
No,
we do
I-
hashtag no let's go?
No, let's go. Let's not.
Let's make it a thing.
Hashtag let's
make,
not.
We're making that a thing on this show. Hashtag no let's go.
No, let's go.
Let's not go. No, that's right. Hashtag let's not go.
Let's not go.
Okay, get it out. Get it out there. Hashtag let's not go.
All right, let me get that going.
Okay.
Let's not go. There you go.
Okay, I'm glad you got that down. There you go. Hashtag let's not go.
Yeah, we're bringing it back, or we're making a thing. Anything? Okay, yeah. We're coming up on an hour and a half, so I think we're going to call it a night for the podcast. Good spoiler section, everybody. Thanks for all the info, Marion Bean, and sorry for all the technical difficulties. But you know, we're in good company.
We are having technical difficulties.
And on that note, we will say goodnight. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday, August 8th, 2021, week 5. Hoping to have Jameel Robinson back with us for Wednesday. He's just gone back from La La Land, but he had some problems with his flight today, so he wasn't able to make tonight's show. But let's not go. You're right. Mary's with us. She's also on the let's not go. All right. Let's not go. Let's not go. All right. On that note, we're going to sign off for tonight. I think we're going to get some empathy and wisdom.